30th, 2025. There's some service trucks running up and down the Dyke Road there. So, I don't know what time it is, like 9:30 I think. My watch is on charge. For some reason my battery bank, I guess it doesn't draw enough. So I just put my watch on charge last night because I forgot to do it in the hotel. And it didn't charge like 3% or something. So I guess the consumption of power is too low and the battery bank cuts off. So my phone needed charging, so they're both charging, almost charged up. I've been kind of loafing this morning. Made some coffee, about done with that. I had my bivvy here was covered in condensate. There's one little drop on the foot, so just kind of letting the sun dry it out. I had my poncho over my backpack, and it had, covered in condensate, but I hung it on my trekking poles, made like a poncho scarecrow. So it dried out pretty quick. But it works good to throw extra stuff on, keep it out of the dirt. So yeah, this is pretty much all I have, and I could send some stuff home, like my wool layer for sleeping. I slept in the shirt last night. I didn't use it much the first 2 nights. It was just cold and I was in my puffy and just crawled in the sleeping bag the way I was. But if I find myself not using them, because there's probably, just guessing, 2 to 3 pounds in my wool. Just guessing. It may not be that heavy. Could be heavier than that, but probably going to mail those and maybe an extra. I brought 2 bandanas. I think one will do. Just a couple things. And I still have my waterproof socks. I have a feeling I'm going to need those, but in the meantime, they're just extra weight. My hiking buddies, they left the hotel this morning at 7:30. They started at the park crossing, so they took an Uber down. So they don't have to do like 4 miles from the hotel like I did yesterday. Their goal is to do like 2 miles north of here, 2-3 miles north of here. Obviously I'm going to do a little more than 2 or 3 miles, but I don't want to get too far ahead. So the next designated listed campsite's 10 miles. It had said 13 miles from the hotel, and then I hiked 6 miles, and now it's 10 miles. So when you're not on the trail, sometimes far out's mileage is a little skewed, but I'll do at least 5 or 6 miles. Because they get up and get started earlier, so they'll be caught up with me early in the morning if I do a short day. So we'll just see. The feet and all's feeling good, legs are feeling good, so but I know how that goes. You start feeling good and you start pushing it, and so I'm probably just gonna throttle back for another few days. Get to the point where I do, like an 8-mile day and I don't feel like I've walked anywhere. And then I'll start stepping it up maybe. Or I may just loaf along the whole time. I don't know, this is kind of nice, Not really having a timeline for anything. Walk till you see a spot, camp. And I'll be out here long enough I can change it up. I can do some miles if I want to. I can loaf around if I want to. Just a nice vacation, right? So that's the direction I came, through that fence. Into this water structure here. They said there may be potable water. Check with the gatekeeper. But I have a quart. I ended up not using any of the water I filtered last night. Because I carried 2 quarts from the hotel. And I still had about 3/4 of a quart this morning after I had tea last night. Tea and sun chips and a Great Value chocolate chip protein bar. And then this morning was coffee and a Great Value chocolate chip protein bar. I'm done with the bars. Those were given to me by the other hikers I'm hiking around. They're going to throw them away, so got an orange blaze over there on the post. The last one was at the gate back there. Anyway, and then up here at this next spot, I'm about, I think it was a half a mile, a little over, where my hiking buddies are going to be tonight. But it said something about a bench, water cache. So if I can keep from drinking these canal water with that tannin color, I'm going to, but I'll drink it if I have to. Wouldn't be the first time, sure won't be the last. It's starting to warm up. It's 11:30 and 72 degrees. I think it's supposed to be a high of 81. Another blaze. Don't see very many of those. Probably seen less than 20 blazes the whole trip. You know, these cow fields, all that stuff just runs into these canals from the cows and agriculture. That's why I'm trying to avoid it. The filter takes out the bacteria and stuff, but it doesn't remove the chemicals and heavy metals and stuff that's dissolved into the water. It's some nice wide open space. Pretty sure that's a bald eagle. There was a commenting far out about a bald eagle nest, and they weren't happy. Not too far from that water structure. That's kind of cool. The first one's landed over there in that tree. It looks like the nest itself is in this tree right here. You're just chilling over there. Go off from the trunk and then just a little to the left. There. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not. Yeah, that's the nest up there. That's kind of cool. The proverbial eagle has landed. A hawk up there. Probably looks like a speck in the camera. It was just fussing a second ago. It was in one of these trees and then it started fussing at me as I walked by. But there was some comments about a water cache. There's a sign that says water for hikers. So I'm going to check it out. There's no shade at the bench, but there's a bench here. The first trail magic I've seen on the Florida Trail. water. Awesome. Here we are, Florida 70. Gonna cross this thing. Nothing that way. Not a whole herd of cars that way, but I think we got time. Yeah, I believe we can beat it. I'll have to double check that. You can't see it, I can't see it. Air-eyed gate with the water. A mile or so back. I can see the highway from there, but I can't see the gate there from the highway. Well, as far as I know, it's walking on this road. I see no blazes anywhere. Tell me otherwise. I'll just have to stop, check the trail guide, and make sure. But it's nice when the sun's behind me and it hits the ground and reflects the other way and not back off the blacktop. And the side road's not very overgrown, so it's easy to walk along the blacktop in the dirt, which my feet appreciate much more than the blacktop. That blacktop gets hot, and then somebody lost their wireless earbuds. Probably just chunked them because they didn't work. Yeah, it gets hot. My shoes get really hot. Makes your feet hot. So. I don't know how much further I'm going. It's 12:30, so I could do another 10 miles probably if I really wanted. I'll probably do 4 or 5 more. I don't know. We'll see. Saw that sign? There's the chickens. Check it out. Looks like a little armadillo on the other side of the ditch. Them things they can't see very well. As long as they don't hear or smell you. See how close we can get. That's it. He said I'm out. Got some raccoons. A little baby one right through there. See if we can get a good shot. I hear him. Oh, there goes one. There it goes, a little poofy fuzzy thing. And there's a big one straight ahead right there. Like that log that does like that. Another 2 foot behind it. Yeah, probably not going to get a better shot. They're not going to come over here and say hello, I know that. But yeah, mama and at least one baby. Got to the end of the road with a stop sign, and then there's another road. And this is listed as a water source and far out. This little old pondy, stagnant looking whatever it is. And then on the Google Maps, it shows this is like a dirt road goes up and then long trail almost parallels it for a long way. But I couldn't read the sign, I was curious. It says CSX Transportation, no trespassing. And the gate's open, there's no vehicle tracks of recent. But it's in line with the road. So I can't help but wonder if some point it wasn't a railroad through here. CSX is just retained the property. Just a track bed or something. So this is where we got at least a little while. Not too far, I'll be in the shade. So there's a campsite in 3.6 miles, which is where the other two hikers are planning to be tomorrow. They stayed back at the water control station. It was just before the first cooler of water. So they're 5 or 6 miles behind me. And they're planning on going to this campsite. It was 3.6. That was probably about 0.6 ago I looked. But from the looks of it, because this is all flooded, and it looks all flooded over there. And up until this point, it's just been barbed wire cow fields with no trespassing signs. So I may not have no option but to do the other 3 miles and camp at that campsite, which is fine. It's on 3:10, so if I pushed it, I could be there by 4:30. I don't know. If I see something intriguing between here and there, I'm gonna stop. I feel pretty good, but my lower back's kind of sore just from where the pack's been rubbing on it. I had that on the AT. My sides and my back. Got some raw spots. And then it kind of like calloused over, so to speak. Not really a callus, but you could feel a layer of skin that was a little thicker. There's a hawk sitting right there on that fence post. There you go, fluff his feathers. Getting ready to take off. Oh, you're watching something. I'll stand here like this for an hour and nothing will happen. As soon as I turn the camera off, he'll go and get whatever was in the grass. Oh, changed his mind. I might have just ruined the poor hawk's dinner. There you go. Watch from the top of that tree. Come back. Oh. Yeah, walking on this blacktop's pretty rough. It just makes it hotter. It did get up to, my watch says a 79. The high was supposed to be 81. I have sweated the most today. My shirt already smelled horrible, so a couple more days. I wanted to find a nylon shirt, but I ended up going with this Columbia polyester one. Nylon just doesn't stink. Like, I mean, it stinks, don't get me wrong, but it's like polyester hangs on to the stink. Like you can wash it, it'll smell clean, and then 5 minutes after you put it on, it stinks like you've never washed it. But there's a park, campground, something coming up in a few days. It has tent sites and showers and laundry, so I'll probably stay there for the night. Wash my clothes, get the salt sweating all out of them. Wash myself, same reason. And then keep on trucking the next day. So I had this nice lady in that red SUV there. She stopped and offered me a taco. She said she had 2 at lunch and only ate 1. And it just happens to be a beef chalupa supreme. I very rarely get anything from Taco Bell, but when I do, it's a beef chalupa supreme. So the trail will provide, even though I didn't need food. I know I ate that little protein bar this morning. I hadn't ate anything all day, so I probably need to eat, even though I'm not too far from my dinner spot. But this will tide me over. So yeah, you never know what's going to happen on the trails. I made it to the Platts Bluff County Park. Got rope swings into the water. I'm sure it's too cold, but a boat ramp. Could probably camp here. I don't see it posted, no camping. There was something about a metal box with some trail magic. I see those over there. Nice little boat launch. Might have to look this up. I can work this into a kayaking trip. A trash can. I don't have a whole lot of trash. Private property. Private road. But there's a blaze there. So yeah, I'm gonna have to, because it looks like the trail keeps going that way. I know it don't go that way because the road would come in curved this way, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. Yeah, I looked in far out and it shows the trail going that way. And there's a blaze there. So hopefully I won't get shot. I smell a skunk. I've been smelling a skunk for a minute. Well, it's another mile to camp if I'm going the right direction. So if it's down this dirt road, nice and shaded, that will be nice. Kind of confusing where I come into private property signs. There's a bunch of comments about a metal box of trail magic. There it is. A little bit further by this gate. It says Florida Trail Hikers. And there's a solar panel over there. Oh, look at there. The water's gone. There's a little froggy back there on the bushes of beans. It's like, why'd you wake me up? That's from the solar panel. It looks like it may be. It unfortunately is not going to work for my phone, as it doesn't have a USB connection, just a barrel connector. So I made it to this Yates Marsh South campground, camping area. So I'll take you around, kind of show you. My camera battery died at the box back there, so that last mile or so I didn't film anything. So I picked this first side, and it looks like these fire rings was just put here today, like literally. Within the last few days for sure, because they're all brand spanking new. But there's 3-4 signs with picnic tables and fire rings. We got the water pump here. Somebody left their pretty new Husky wrench. There's a lot of complaints about they couldn't get it to work. People talking about they had to have a jug to prime it. There's a jug antifreeze jug, and it seems to be full of water. But I didn't have any problems. The water that first came out of it was pretty dark and nasty. So I doubt they put a new pump up today, but probably been a few days. But either way, that's cool. I'm sure get plenty of water there. And then I'm going to take you back here to this campsite, where we have what's called a hiker gear dump. And that's what lazy hikers do. They get tired of carrying a little bit of stuff, and they just dump it out somewhere on the trail. Because they're like, well, I was dumb enough to carry this. Surely somebody else out there will want it. And you can tell it's been sitting here for days. Looks like, it's been dewed on several times. There's some t-shirts, some underwear, sleeping bag liner, some shorts, stove fuel, wipes, insect repellent wipes, toothbrush and holder, toothpaste, little Swiss Army knife, which I would keep that, except for I have one just like it in my pack without the Leuco tape or whatever that is on it. Little Husky box cutter knife, and an almost empty can of fuel. All these trash cans going down the road. I mean, any one of them. You can just... But instead, I'm going to leave it out here on a table in the middle of the park. Oh well. Well, maybe somebody that needs it will find it. It just won't be me.